Hey everyone, it's Diane Flores at Living the Goddess Life. I am here with my Goddess Body Project group. I'm going to give Facebook a couple seconds to catch up and let me know if you can see me. I've got my Wi-Fi on and the connection was good right here where I'm at. So I'm going to let Facebook catch up for just a second and then we're going to dive into today's topic, which I'm really excited about. I talk with my coaching clients about this stuff and I put a little poll in the group and it sounds like this is what you ladies wanted to talk about or you wanted some help with, and that is what I'm here for. It is my passion to help you guys succeed in this whole diet strategy, fitness game that we're in, and it seems like it typically becomes a never-ending battle in trying to figure out and navigate through weight loss / fat loss. So the title of today's video is how to stop feeling deprived when trying to lose weight, how to stay on course with that and not feel like you're dieting. So I'm gonna cover quite a few different strategies. I have some homework for you, a little challenge for you to try something out at the end of this video, so stick around so that way you can try this out for yourself. It works wonderful for me and it's working wonders for my girls in my coaching group, so I'm hoping to give you guys this little tip to run with and get started. So I'm going to start with a little story back from how this sort of came to be. This strategy came to be for me and the struggle that I was going through a couple years ago. So for those of you that don't know me, I am a holistic health coach. I graduated through the Institute of Integrative Nutrition. I also own a bootcamp studio and a pole dancing studio, and I've been doing that for almost 10 years now. So it's been quite an experience. I've worked with thousands of women and it's been phenomenal to say the least. Throughout this past decade, I decided to do figure and bikini competitions. And for those of you that aren't familiar with that, that's where they're bodybuilding style competitions. You get on stage, you go through these extreme dieting. And I did it 7 times. And each time I did it, I either dieted for at minimum 12 weeks, but it was usually between 14 to 16 weeks. And it may not seem like a big deal, but for these style competitions, it's extremely, it can be, depending on your coach, extremely deprived. So you are eating, the same types of foods so that way you could see the predictability in the diet in your body and the changes. So, and I tend to, when I get in contest mode, get super duper focused, and it's like, I have my eye on the prize and I do say, train, sleep, eat, breathe, exactly what my coach tells me to do. So there isn't, with my first coaches early in the days, there wasn't a whole lot of wiggle room for treats and things like that. So there was a period of time coming off of 7 competitions, because I did it on and off for about 3 years, that I lost my marbles with food. Like, there was some stuff going on. My son left for the military, was going through the process of separating from my husband, just all kinds of crazy stuff. And it wouldn't be far-fetched to find me at night after everybody had went to bed, standing in the pantry, binging on peanut butter or random stuff that I could find. So there was a binge and then deprivation that was happening. And if you can relate to that, I mean, feel free to post like, yep, done it before, where you get super duper strict and you're just like, okay, today's Monday, I'm clean eating, and then by like the weekend you go crazy. So that was my lifestyle, and it was like a pendulum. It would be like super, super strict and then super, super bingy, and it just went back and forth. So it gets old, right? I mean, if you have felt like you've dealt with that, I mean, give me a thumbs up, right? It just feels like, gosh, you beat yourself up mentally, you stress out about it, and you start focusing on, oh, I can't have this. And then you're like, no, I'm being good, right? So I've been working on and off with my coach as well. And some of you may have heard of her, Jill Coleman. And she released this program, which is the Food Obsession Bootcamp. Yes, I agree. We have all been there. So Food Obsession Bootcamp, and it's an online course. It's great. I can link it up afterwards so you guys can check it out. And one of the tools that she had in there was extremely helpful for me, and I also pass it on to my clients, my coaching clients as well. So I'm going to share it with you guys here and give you some tools and strategies to work with. Now, this is going to be a little bit scary for some of you, and some of you are going to think I've lost my marbles, but bear with me and trust me. It's going to take some trust in yourself, but I promise you it's absolutely worth it. So the Food Obsession Bootcamp, what it is, this tool, this actually, I call them sanity foods, is putting your treats into perspective. So I want you to think about how you go through your day. So you maybe are trying to avoid certain foods, and you're like, I can't have this. So for those of you that are on live with me, I see about 7 eyes on me that are here. I want you to type in the comment box and let me know what that food is for you. So for example, if there's something you can't have when you're dieting, I want you to type it in the box for me. So for example, for me it was like, I can't have ice cream Monday through Friday because, I'm dieting. So I would just be like, nope, I can't have ice cream. I can't have cookies. I can't have brownies. I can't have chocolate. And I would be like, those are the forbidden foods, right? So what would happen is, and candy, same thing. So for me, what would happen is I would put this food like on a pedestal, right? Like it holds this power and it has like this control because, once you eat it, then you can't stop. And side note, on a lot of the stuff that we crave, the companies create these foods to create a stimulus in your brain so that way you constantly that you crave them, you want more, and you can't stop eating them. So the problem is when you deprive yourself from them and then you have them, it's like, I don't know about you guys, but I've had times when I've been like, oh my gosh, I just totally like had an out-of-body experience, and I just ate like half a jar of peanut butter. Like that's happened to me years ago when I was, putting peanut butter on this pedestal. Like I couldn't control myself around it, and then I would just like kind of like lose my head and go crazy, right? So I want you to think about, so I see that you guys have listed some foods here. So candy, potato chips, sweets, dairy milk, cheese, things like that. So these are probably things you try to avoid when you're dieting, or you're trying to maybe lose that last 10 pounds or even that first 10 pounds. And you're like, I can't have that because I'm being good, right? So I want you to imagine if you knew, okay, this is where we get a little scary because it's like, total different mindset around dieting. If you knew that you could have 500 calories of that favorite food every single day, how would you feel about that? Like without feeling guilty. And trust me when I say that the first time I did this, I was like, this is weird. I don't know. And I'll never forget it. I did this last year, and honestly, you guys, it has been so freeing for me. So my 500 calories was, I was on this ice cream kick. And so I would deprive myself from ice cream all week long, or I would try to eat, like there's some that sort of like curb the craving. Like, I don't know if you guys have heard of Arctic Zero, Halo Top, and that's fine. And they kind of serve their purpose, but then the weekends would come and I'd still crave like full fat ice cream. So what I did is what I'm going to cue you guys on in a little bit. So we'll get to that in just a second. So if you can imagine allowing yourself that 500 calories every single day, it'll beat feeling deprived, wouldn't it? So all day long, you're feeling like, okay, I'm going to come home and I'm going to have salad or chicken breast or whatever it is. So, knowing that you can have a little sanity food after dinner, if that's your trigger time, which is that is mine. It beats that deprivation feeling that you constantly feel when you're dieting, because we always want what we can't have, right? So, so that is part of it too. It also definitely beats being hardcore Monday through Thursday and then losing it and binging Friday through Sunday. Does that make sense? I mean, who does that? I know I used to do that. I was guilty of that. And sometimes I slip into old habits every so often. when, I'm trying to be hardcore, but it's all about finding that little sanity food that's going to keep you from binging Friday through Sunday. Because a lot of times it's like, we have our routine set through the week, and it's like you're predictable, like what you're doing at work, and like you either bring your lunch or whatever, and then the weekends come and you're out with the kids or the family, the husband, the boyfriend, and it's just like you lose all control in terms of what you're eating. So that is part of the reason why I suggest that this is a great tool for you to use, and we're going to have some homework coming up with this. So the other reason why this is so important is because perfection is not an option. So being perfect is unrealistic, right? Who thinks like, I'm going to be perfect with my diet? Like, even through being through strict hardcore competitions, being on stage, working with competition coaches, I can tell you there was definitely a couple times where I slipped up bad during my competing days and I beat myself up. And I thought, I need to be perfect, right? I got to be 100% on, or I'm a loser, I'm a failure, and I just want to give up. So I've totally had those. And you know what, ladies? To make this a lifestyle and work on your goddess body project, you're going to be a work in process, and perfection is overrated. So let's remember that. So the other question I have for you, and I want you to ponder, is if you knew, so for example, we're going to use the evening time because I get a lot of questions or concerns around like nighttime eating, snacking, binging, that sort of thing. If you knew that after dinner you could have 500 calories of this sanity food, how could you see yourself being a little bit tighter throughout the day? So staying on track with your food the rest of the day, knowing, okay, well tonight I'm excited because you know what? It's Monday and I'm gonna have ice cream because I'm a diet rebel, and I can then stick to eating the foods that are healthier for me that I still love. So like a big huge bowl of oatmeal with maybe some egg whites and spinach, and then maybe having a huge salad with some protein and healthy fat for lunch. Maybe like an apple and some almonds for snack. So things that are super filling and nutritious. If you could stick to those, if you knew that you could have that 500 calories of your sanity food every night, could you stick to eating healthier throughout the day? I can tell you right now, it made it a lot easier for me knowing, you know what? I've got some Ben & Jerry's in the fridge, and I'm gonna have me half a cup later on, and I'm not gonna eat, a burger and fries for lunch, because that's not, although it sounds great and fun, I'm gonna feel like crap afterwards, and I would much rather save my calories for some ice cream later at night, or, a small bag of chips, or whatever your thing is, right? So much easier. Like we give our kids little treats for doing good things, or we give them little rewards, for doing their homework, or, little incentives. And for me, it's kind of like, I'm excited I got my ice cream later, and you know what? I'm not going to lose my crap this weekend and just binge on a bunch of ice cream. So that's my question. So yeah, it sounds like you guys are excited for a special treat at the end of the day. What else did I want to tell you? Okay, so knowing that you have, you have that little sanity food at the end of the day, it takes the feeling of being deprived out of the equation. You have less anxiety about it. You'll have less cravings, because ultimately that sanity food should curb your cravings. So what happened for me, my dogs are gonna go crazy here in a second, is that my sanity food happened to be ice cream. So if you're having a salty craving, then maybe if that's your thing, some girls prefer like a salty snack versus a sweet snack, then have that salty snack ready for you. It's gonna help curb that craving. It's going to help take the deprivation out of the equation and you feeling like you have to binge. Now, this is where you have to trust yourself. So I know I have a client, we had a conversation last week actually at the studio, where she just said, I just don't trust myself, because she has been doing a deprivation / binge cycle for so long that she's like, you know what, Diane, I hear you, but I just do not trust myself to have that ice cream in my fridge and try to give myself like a decent serving of that and then not eat the entire container. And so my advice was to her is, you don't know until you try. You have to trust yourself. It's not going to be perfect. Some days you may scoop a little more than, you know, other days. But I'm going to tell you, it takes the attraction from that food way down. The attractiveness of that ice cream, I can tell you from example of me doing this with my sanity foods, that I haven't had ice cream for a few days now because I'm like, kind of over it, you know. So what I did was I switched to the other thing that I've kind of put on the back burner, like, oh, I can't have that kind of a thing. So for me, it's like a few pieces of dark chocolate and I'm good. We just had Halloween and I picked my favorites from my son's, as I confiscated his bag, which was like Whoppers, peanut M&Ms, something like that. I pulled out a few of those and that was like my 500 calories after dinner. And I was like, I'm good. I don't, you know, I'm not like sitting here clawing at my face, looking through his candy going, I can't have that, right? And I'm staying on track. Everything's great. My workouts are fantastic. So what it also allows for you to do is gives you the opportunity, and this is where we kind of check out a little bit with our eating, at least I know I have, is it allows you to be a little bit mindful earlier in the day because you know, okay, if I really want this later, then I should, you know, I should probably tighten it up a little bit during lunch. If you're going out with colleagues or girls, you know, at the office or whatever, making a little bit better choice during lunch because you're like, you know what, I'd rather have ice cream later and this, you know, Applebee's baby back ribs ain't worth it, okay? So you gotta pick and choose your nutritional battles. So that's where allows for a little bit of mindfulness to come in the process, okay? So you wanna know what happens. So this is what happens once you start trying this out for size and seeing how it goes. Your sanity foods allow you to stay the course to follow your goals. And it helps you stay consistent 7 days a week versus 4 days of tight, clean, eating like 100% on track and then losing it Friday through Sunday, right? Because if you know, like, okay, I can have those sanity foods, then the weekend comes and you're like, and everybody wants to go out for ice cream or Sundays or whatever, and you're like, I'm kind of over it, or maybe you still do and you have your 500 calories of ice cream and you don't feel the need to like gorge out on a bunch of other foods, right? Because you haven't been feeling deprived. So that's what it does. It also puts a lot less stress around food. So you don't have, you know, these opportunities where you're going to be like, well, I can't have that, I can't have that, because it puts a lot less stress around food. It's, I choose not to have that because I'm choosing to have something else later that's really worth it for me. And in my ebook, in my nutrition program that I have, I put an entire, you know, basically information about how I became like a food snob with certain things. Like I'm not going to waste my calories or my food on certain things because I would rather have them for something that I prefer versus like, oh, it's just here, I'm going to eat it. What the hell, right? The attraction for that food becomes much less, which I already talked about. So, you know, it doesn't put it on this pedestal like, oh, I'm dieting, I can't have that. I need to avoid that. I need to, you know, just take it out of my memory because I can't have it around me. Like I've had people say that to me before, like I just can't, it's going to make me crazy. And I know because I've been there. So it takes that attraction away big time. Less incidences for binge and deprivation cycle. So again, when you allow yourself the opportunity to have a sanity food every day, you are much less likely to binge on it later because you know you can have it every day. It takes the FOMO out of it, so fear of missing out, because you know you can have it later, okay? So now we're gonna wrap it up, and I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a challenge. So I want you to try this out for yourself. Now, for those of you watching and that have made it this far, thanks for hanging in with me. But I want you to think about that food. I know some of you posted it, that you tend to say, I'm on a diet, so I can't have XYZ, so whatever that is for you. You know, again, I know sometimes that's alcohol for some people, and I totally get that. And I am a vino girl. I love me some wine. And again, sometimes I have it, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I have that instead of ice cream. It just depends on my mood, what I want to have. But I always know, you know, I'm going to stick to about 500 calories and I'm not going to overdo it because guess what? It'll be there tomorrow and I can have it tomorrow. So I want you to, who this is going to work best for is someone who has set up their nutrition already for 80 to 90% of clean foods. So if you guys have any questions also at this point, I want you to go ahead and post them in the comment box for me and let me know. But how this works best is if you already have that solid foundation. So if you already know or understand the principles of eating clean, eating healthy, know what lean protein is, know what complex carbohydrates are, get in lots of veggies. So if your nutrition is pretty much on point, you know who you are, then this is a great strategy. So that's number one. That's very important. Number two, you have to like the way that you eat forever. So I know we're looking for the quick fix, the pill that's going to solve all the problems, the injections, the this, the that. I know there was somebody that had posted that they wanted to talk about that as well, or an option for a video. And we can discuss that if you guys are super interested I can do that on another video. But again, it's got to be a forever solution. So if you can't see yourself eating a certain way forever, you guys, it's not going to last. Those results are going to be temporary. So you have to like the way you eat. So the reason why I created the Goddess Body, the whole nutrition program, is because those are recipes that are delicious, sustainable. That way of eating is realistic for longevity, for youthfulness, for fueling your workouts, for feeling great, bottom line, right? Because we all want to feel good. And then you tweak it as you go. You switch things up, switch out your proteins, figure out what it is that you like to eat. But you have to like it forever, or else you're not going to want to do it forever, right? That's how it becomes a lifestyle. So for me personally, for my coaching clients personally, we know that that's the foundation that we build our nutrition on, is those principles. And then we can add in fun things like the sanity foods as another tool. So that way we don't feel like we're on a diet. This feels like something we can do all the time. Does that make sense? So hopefully if that makes sense. If not, please leave a comment or a question. I'd love to answer it. So the scary part that I want you guys to attempt, and I know some of you will be like, okay, big deal. But this is a huge deal, especially if you have been dieting for years, which I have a lot of clients that have been dieting for years, is allowing themselves to eat bad foods feels really bad, right? So you're like, this is not right. Like, I feel like I'm cheating. And there's a lot of guilt that goes on with that. And I know firsthand because I was the same way. It was like, if it wasn't on the meal plan, then I shouldn't be eating it. And I would just feel terrible about it. And so usually that just spirals out of control and creates you to want to binge more because you're stuffing your emotions with food, right? So knowing that you can trust yourself in this process and just give yourself permission to experiment with this is going to be probably the biggest hurdle for some of you that have been dieting for a long time. So what I want you to do, your homework, is I want you to figure out what your sanity food is, that thing that gives you that sort of releases that feeling of like feeling deprived during dieting. I want you to go buy that food. So if it's ice cream, if it's chocolate, if it's, cookies or whatever, and I want you to have it in the house, and I want you to trust yourself that you're going to be able to allow yourself to have about 300 to 500 calories of that every single night. So if that's after dinner, or if you have like a trigger time during the day, and knowing that that is where your little sanity food comes in. Give yourself permission, trust the process. Know that maybe some days you are going to be, some of you I had seen in the comments are emotional eaters. And so sometimes those days are a little harder than others. Being mindful, take a deep breath, allow yourself to have that sanity food. And if you go a little overboard on one day, it's not going to be like that every single day. And just remember, if you're one of the few, that feels like, or probably, one of the many that feels like I got to be hardcore or I can't do it at all, I want you to ask yourself, has that been working for you? Because ultimately, that's what you have to ask yourself. Has this hardcore, white knuckle, deprivation style approach, has this been working for me? If it has, then great. I want to meet you because you're like a pink elephant. I don't know if you exist. So, but if you feel like you're tired of it, then give yourself permission to try something new. And I'm pretty passionate about this because I want to help women get off of the diet yo-yo crazy roller coaster of not fueling their bodies, because it affects so many other things in your life, not just how you look, but how you feel, how you move about in the world, your confidence level, your energy, how you treat your family members. You know, I mean, it goes really, really deep. Nutrition is so, so important. So if you guys like this video, let me know. Give me some love. I really enjoyed at least touching base with you guys once a week here in this group, see how you're doing. And let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to hang out for a couple minutes longer. Is anybody watching on a lunch break right now? I know it's probably about 12:30-ish. AB Gail asks, I find myself feeling hungry before bedtime. What would be a good snack to eat before bed? Well, there's a couple different options. If we're talking about, so I don't know, AB Gail, if you joined in a little bit late or not, but we're talking about sanity foods in a dieting lifestyle that help you not feel deprived. So if you're talking about sanity foods, that's going to be different for everyone. If you're talking about like a good, healthy, good snack before bed, there's several different options. I personally like doing, if I'm doing something a little on the healthier side and I'm not really craving like one of my sanity foods, I have an entire snack list in my Goddess Body University program, but I also, for me personally, will do like Greek yogurt. I know there is some girls that don't like the taste of it, because I will usually recommend you get the fat-free kind, just to pull out some of the artificial sweeteners and sugars that are in there. So I'll do a good healthy snack. Okay, I will do Greek yogurt with like half a scoop of protein powder, and then maybe sometimes I'll do like a little bit of more of a natural sweetener like Truvia or stevia, and swirl it up. You can put it in the freezer for about 5 minutes, and it makes what we call, one of my recipes in the book is a pro-froyo, so like a protein frozen yogurt. And then I can also link up, oh nice, I can also link up the protein that I love for stuff like that. I have two proteins that I highly recommend. One is a little more flavorful in terms of like using for recipes and things like that, and the other one is a little more natural, so I can link up both of those for you too. So like a Greek yogurt is great. It's high in protein, low in fat, low in calories, and it is very filling, so it's very heavy. It makes you feel, yeah, Chelsea, it's delicious. It makes you feel pretty full. So that's one option. I haven't done the recipe for this yet, but I also have a protein ice cream. And that's if, you know, again, I'm like trying to do something a little more protein based, like wanting to get some more protein in for the day. And basically I have a Cuisinart like ice cream maker, and I will blend up a scoop of protein, that's my pup, a scoop of protein powder, a cup of almond milk, vanilla flavored almond milk, and blend it up. And usually I think I'll do like a half a scoop of like cottage cheese, and then put it in the ice cream maker and blend it up, and it's amazing. Like my kid will even like eat it. He's like the pickiest thing ever. Chelsea asks, I eat a banana before bed. Is that good? Sometimes banana just makes me feel bloated. Do you know why? Well, bananas before bed, if you are trying to lose weight and lose fat, I wouldn't recommend, I mean, okay, caveat. So if it's between like a banana and like a box of Oreos, eat the banana, right? So like we get that concept. But if you're like, okay, I want to, you know, I kind of want to strategize my evenings so that way I'm going to bed in like fat loss mode, definitely wouldn't choose a banana, because bananas are a more of a starchier fruit. So a little higher in carbohydrates, which of course there's some fiber in there. So that's gonna negate some of the insulin spiking effects, but definitely bananas are a higher calorie, like I said, higher carb content. So if you're gonna do bananas, I would do those more around like your workouts or earlier in the day. Berries are going to be better for you. I know cookies do sound better. But berries would be a much better choice at nighttime. So like strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, they're super high in antioxidants, a lot lower in calories, a lot lower in carbohydrates as well. So you could do berries in the frozen yogurt like I was talking about too, or in the Greek protein yogurt. You could do that as well. And gives you like that little sweet and kind of feel like you're having, you know, like a frozen yogurt treat kind of a thing. And as far as it making you bloated, it could be due to the fact that because they are higher in carbohydrates, so you might be holding a little bit of water around that time too. So yeah, earlier in the day, Amanda says banana before workout is better. Definitely, I agree. Or in a smoothie. Let me scroll and see if there's any other questions. So for those of you on, let me know where you're from. I just had, I think like 100 new members within the last few days join. It's been crazy, good stuff. Let me know where you're from. I've got people from all over the place, which has been so cool. And I love it because I feel like so connected to everybody just all over. So it's great. So yeah, Sanity Foods, being a diet rebel, you know, trying out this new strategy and not being scared. So give me a thumbs up. You down? You down to do that? Let me know if you are going to try that tonight. Diane said I have to have Sanity Food. So make sure you, if you're getting looks from like people at home or your friends or whatever, aren't you on a diet? Oh, they used to kill me. I hated that. Yeah, bitches, I'm on a diet and I'm having me some ice cream, so back off or else I'm gonna eat you. No, just kidding. That's not very nice. I would say things like that when I was contest dieting because I did want to like scratch my eyes out and like strangle people. So, anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I'm trying to come in to the group every day, post a little something that helps you, you know, throughout your journey. And, like I said, I will post the links above. If you can think of anything else, let me know. And I love it when you guys vote. I love, love, love when you guys vote and let me know what you want me to create content based on, because ultimately it's all about y'all, not what I want to. I mean, I want to talk about, you know, crazy stuff like working out, pole dancing and sensual dancing. But if there is something that, you know, is going to help you in this journey, I definitely want to do that and demystify certain things that are out there in the fitness industry that are not true, debunk some myths for you. And yeah, so have a great Wednesday. I don't know if you guys got my Workout Wednesday email this morning. Let me know if you did. There is a link to one of my videos in there. I can actually link it in the comments above too, because it's a blog post and you could check it out. And basically no excuses not to work out. It's a 5-minute workout and I did it and I'm dying in that video. Like I'm literally dying a slow death of like my lungs are on fire and it was not cute. So, so if you got it, if you got the video, let me know and let me know if you try it. I'd love to know those of you that try out my workouts. So, all right, you guys have a great day and I'll see you in the group.